What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jake Summer Podcast. Today, we got a long episode for you guys, but a fun one. We're going to be breaking down free agency, landing spots for all the top guys in each position group. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. Yesterday on Tuesday was the franchise tag deadline. Some guys that got tagged yesterday that won't be free agents: Michael Pittman, Brian Burns, Jalen Johnson, Justin Madubuike, Antoine Winfield, Josh Allen, and Kyle Duggar received the transition tag, which means he is a free agent, but New England can match any offer that he gets. Free agency begins on Monday, the 11th at 12 p.m. So I'm excited. That's when teams can start talking. It becomes official on Wednesday, but it really starts Monday. So excited, for that. And we're going to break it down all for you guys right now.
Welcome to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast, bringing you the latest NFL news and insights from the perspectives of two die-hard fans. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some football talk with Jenks and the Hammer.
Hey, here we go!
All right, getting right into our free agency landing spots, projections. Our first positions are quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins is the first guy we're going to start with because he's had an interesting ride the last few weeks. He got hurt a few months ago, obviously, with the Vikings. Now he's a free agent. There's been talks about him going back to the Vikings or possibly going to a different team. And a team that I see a lot of him being projected to, that the talks are heating up, are the Falcons. And as a Saints fan, I know the Falcons like the back of my hand. They're always going to go after a quarterback that they think is going to be a star, and it's going to be Kirk Cousins, sort of like the Saints did last year. We thought Derek Carr was everything, and clearly it didn't work out. But I think Kirk Cousins is going to go to the Falcons. I do think that happens. Him paired up with all the guys over there, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. It's a good offense on paper. But they didn't know how to make it work last year with Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke. And I think I'd rather have Kirk over there than Justin Fields. And I know that's going to be a weird take for a lot of people. But as a Saints fan, I know that we can't defend a running quarterback for the lives of our defense. Like, we can't do it. So I think Kirk Cousins being a sit in the pocket kind of guy gives our defense a little bit of an advantage, and I think we can stop him in the Falcons yet again.
Yeah, I got Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons too. It looks like he's looking at schools for the kids, houses over there. So kind of from all the rumors, it seems like a done deal, but honestly, they could all be lies, and he could be back in Minnesota. He could be going to another team. But right now, what it sounds like, I got Atlanta. I think once he goes there, I think the Falcons are probably going to be the favorite to win that division. He's got a bunch of weapons. And, that relationship with him in Minnesota, it's been fine, but it's been, coming to an end. I mean, that Kirk Cousins era is, it's due for an ending. Didn't really work out. Didn't win it all. I think, Vikings are in that spot where they're right there to go get a quarterback in the draft, maybe move up a couple spots, but they're in that position, and it's time. So next guy we got is Baker Mayfield. I think he's staying with the Bucs. Seems like he found a home there. Won the division, won a playoff game, was a Pro Bowler this past season. They just, re-signed Mike Evans, keeping the weapons in town. So it makes a lot of sense stay in Tampa.
Yeah, I agree. The only other team that I've really seen any potential of him going to talked about would be the Patriots. And I don't see that as being a good match for him. Why would he go to a team with less weapons? I mean, yeah, they have the third pick maybe, but I think they go with a rookie quarterback. So it's just kind of going over there just to be a bridge quarterback where he can solidify himself in this Tampa Bay offense over the next few years if he signs back. And I think as an Oklahoma fan, the guy still has some ability. I mean, he does clearly. I think he has some games where he kind of falls back to earth a little bit, but he showed against the Packers last year that he still has he's still a pretty good quarterback. You saw it firsthand, and he did it against the Saints first time we played him. So Baker Mayfield still has something there, but I think the Bucs are his best spot, as well as just being in a crappy division. Gives him a chance to go to the playoffs again.
Yeah, that doesn't really count against the Packers. Play against Tom Capers, but yeah. Next guy, Russell Wilson. Interesting one here. Report came out this morning that he is basically a free agent now. He's allowed to talk to teams now. Denver gave him that permission to do that. Interesting situation if you're Russell Wilson. He's going to take a vet minimum deal, wherever he goes, because he's getting paid $85 million over the course of the next 2 years. So a landing spot for me is the Raiders. Why the Raiders? The Raiders are definitely in the quarterback market. They're sitting at 8 in the draft. I think that's, out of reach for a couple, 3, 4 quarterbacks. Maybe one falls to them. I don't think so. And you know what? I think Russell kind of fits their kind of time frame, their timeline with Devontae Adams there. Makes a lot of sense. Plus, you go to Denver's, division rivals, stick it up theirs. You get to play them twice a year while they're paying you $40 million a year. Pretty crazy. And you take the vet minimum deal, so Raiders can surround him with talent, and the Raiders do have a good amount of cap space this offseason. So, yeah, I think he's staying in the division, and he's gonna. We'll see if he sticks it at Denver a couple times with them paying him millions.
Comes out with a vengeance. Yeah, I think it's a good spot for him, especially with that being against the Broncos. Like, he's gonna want to. Obviously, he's pissed. Like, who wouldn't be in that situation? The Broncos thing, the huge trade happened, and it all came burning down. I think that whole situation was just mismanaged from the start. But now, I mean, Russ has a great availability to him. Like, he could be a guy. There's a lot of teams that have quarterback needs. And I got a team that I think is a great spot for him is the Vikings. And I think the reason there is you're going to have to pay Justin Jefferson. They have Jordan Addison, they have TJ Hawkins, and they have a good offense. They're going to sign a running back probably in the free agency or in the draft, whatever they want to do there. And if you sign Russell Wilson to a vet min, I mean, they still have a good shot at just going out and saying, we'll sign a couple more weapons for you. And I know there's been rumors that the receivers on the Broncos aren't happy either. They all tweeted out some weird, like the fingers crossed emoji talking about him. And Cortland Sutton is going to get restructured. Maybe he gets traded. All the other receivers are also on the board to be moved as well. So I think Russell Wilson to the Vikings just makes a lot of sense, especially if they go, like you said, in the quarterback and they trade up or they stay and pick a quarterback. He could be a good bridge guy that's getting paid vet min to go out and try to win a Super Bowl, go out, try to go to the playoffs, and then make a deep run.
Yeah, and I think another team to keep in mind is like New England, right? And the Vikings make sense too. And the Vikings could still draft a quarterback when they sign Russell Wilson. And the Patriots could still take a quarterback at 3 with Russell Wilson. And you have Russell for the next 2 years who can mentor this young QB so you don't have to throw him into the fire. Take a note page of the Packers, handbook, so that's something too to consider. I think Russell would be willing to do that too, just because of his character and the type of guy he is. I don't think he'd really mind that. So that's another thing. Next guy we got Gardner Minshew. I got the Jets. The Jets need a good backup. They know that, Rodgers is old. Yes, he's your guy, but he's old. God forbid he gets injured again. You need a good backup. And I think Minshew just kind of makes sense. He's a veteran, but he's also a young guy. So it's, kind of best of both worlds. And I think that's just a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, I like where you're going with that, but I'm going to go across the division to a team that does need a quarterback at this moment and could need a mentor quarterback. I'm going to go with the Patriots for Gardner Minshew. I think it's a team that, Gardner obviously isn't one of the top 10 guys in the NFL, but he still has really good games. Like he showed it on the Colts. He led them almost to a playoff spot. Or did they make no, they didn't make the playoffs, but they were close. And I think he had a lot to do with that. I mean, Anthony Richardson went down and everyone counted out the Colts. He came in, he made the Pro Bowl even as an alternate, I believe, but he still made it because he had a good year and kept the Colts in it. And I think Gardner Minshew, if the Patriots were to draft, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, whoever's available there at 3, they could get mentored for a few weeks, the season, whatever the Patriots seem fit, and he could carry them at least to a better season than they did last year. I think he's a better quarterback right now than Mac Jones in a lot of situations. So I think Gardner Minshew is a great fit for the Patriots.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now moving on, the running backs. We have 5 running backs, top guys to break down. Yes, this is big running back class, but we just chose the top 5 guys. Let's try to keep it nice and quick. Derrick Henry, I think the 2 favorites to land him, the 2 most attractive teams, definitely what the fans are talking about, the Ravens and the Eagles, right? I went with the Ravens. They're not bringing back Patrick Queen. They're going to have some money to spend. Number 1 seed, Derrick Henry's trying to go win a Super Bowl. I think he goes to Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry is a pick of the litter with the Birds of Prey here. So the Ravens, Eagles, it's tough. I mean, Ravens, not really. Anyways, I think the Eagles are a great fit for him. And the reason why is, they like that power run game style. And especially if you go into the tush push formation and you have to worry about him handing it off to Derrick Henry in the backfield or something crazy, they could craft up crazy plays for Derrick Henry in the backfield. I think it would be maybe a 2-year, 3-year deal. He's getting up there in age. I don't see them signing him to a 4-year deal with a lot of money and anything like that. But you get Derrick Henry for a 2-year deal on the Eagles, I think that's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, next guy, Josh Jacobs. I got Josh Jacobs going to Dallas. Dallas going to need running back. Tony Pollard's a free agent. I think Josh Jacobs is, 2 years ago, he had a really, really good year. He's still young, and he's got that power, and, he's kind of like a finesse runner, and he's also got the power. He can do a little bit of both. I think Dallas finds a complete back in Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. I think Dallas definitely needs a guy like that, and I think Josh Jacobs, he had a little bit of an off year this past season, but I mean, I have him in Dynasty. I still believe in him. I think he's a good running back, and I think if he goes to the right team, he can do a lot of good. And the team that I have him projected to are the Bears, and the reason
so he's not going to do good then. Sucks.
No, he'll do good. He'll do good. Maybe
He
not.
said he's got to go to a
Packers,
good team with the right
you,
fit.
but I think the Packers, this is kind of the running back that they need.
Bears,
they've had a few
Packers.
good running back. Huh?
Bears, not Packers. You said Packers.
Sorry, Bears. Yeah, you're tweaking me out. Anyways, the Bears need a guy like this. They've been looking for a good running back. They have a couple decent ones over there already, but I think Josh Jacobs comes in and he's able to just be that power guy that can also be quick and shifty, good jump cuts, good like anything you need on that offense. And I think that's something that they really need with a new quarterback coming into town as well. He can also catch passes. Jeez. It's not his main thing, but he can do it. So for a guy like Caleb Williams possibly coming to town, I mean, this is a good running back for him to start with.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, probably the most attractive name on this list, probably the number one candidate. I would think Barkley and Jacobs are kind of the first tier of running backs, and then tier 2 would be the rest of these guys on this list. I got him going to Houston. Houston's a fun team. You saw what they did last year. Young team, came out of nowhere, won the division, won a playoff game. CJ Stroud looks like, the next great quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. I've seen reports saying, CJ Stroud and Saquon are buddies. They've been texting back and forth. What would it be like to play with each other? So I got to land in Houston. Houston's got the money. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with Hammer here on this one. I think the Texans are too good of a match for him. And I think the reasoning is you saw what Devin Singletary was doing up there. He was able to get good. He was getting good run gaps to get through. And he was even making good plays. And Devin Singletary is not the same caliber as Saquon Barkley. He's still a decent running back, but you put Saquon in that offense with those opportunities, this guy's going to have a huge year. Obviously, he's been injured a lot. He hasn't had a breakout season like he has since his first year. And I'm hoping that if he goes to the Texans, he'll be able to return to that nature of running back.
Next one, Tony Pollard. This one's an interesting one. I think a lot of people, including me, who had Tony Pollard in fantasy, expected more this year.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do so great. This guy's a tough guy to predict where he can go. I was kind of thinking about the Bears, but I don't really think he fits that style. I think the Bears get someone like Zach Moss or someone like that. I think Tony Pollard's going to land with the Chargers. Chargers, Ekeler is not coming back, and I think he's just more of a all-rounded guy like that who can run the ball, catch the ball, kind of fits that offense. So Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'm going in a little bit of a different direction here. I can go to the Raiders, a team that is in need of a running back, obviously with Josh Jacobs going. I think this guy has a similar play style. He's obviously not the same as Josh Jacobs, but he has a similar play style. He's a little bit tougher, can power through guys as well as be that speedy kind of running back that you need. He can also catch passes as well. So I think that's a good fit for him in the Raiders over there in Las Vegas, and possibly getting a new quarterback coming to town. Like you said, maybe Russ, maybe someone else. I think that's a good match for him.
Yeah, last running back on the list, Austin Ekeler, and this is a weird one for me. I don't really have a lot of reason behind it, but Austin Ekeler will be a member of the Eagles.
I think, all you got to say there is he's just a versatile guy, and obviously has more experience than DeAndre Swift, so that's a decent spot for him. I like it. I think he goes a different direction, goes a different side of town in the division. He goes to Dallas. Dallas needs a guy that's a veteran, but also is able to do it all. And I think that's Austin Eckler's forte. He does everything. And I think the thing is with him, yeah, you've seen him aging a little bit. I think it's a 2-year deal, 1 year deal, 2 years, something like that. because you've seen him slow down. Obviously, I think it was a game against the Packers. Maybe he bounced it out outside, and he just looked super slow going down the field. Like he looked like a snail. It was bad. I love Austin Ekeler. I've had him in fantasy numerous years, but he does look like he's slowing down a little bit. Hopefully, he's able to prove him wrong when he goes to the Cowboys this upcoming offseason.
Yeah. Next, we got receivers. Top 5 receivers in our opinion. First one, Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to the Patriots. Patriots haven't had a true weapon in years since Edelman and Gronk. I think he goes to New England. I think New England goes quarterback in the draft. So I think New England gets their young quarterback, a good veteran and still young target for them.
Hammer, this is getting a little bit scary here. I got Calvin Ridley going to the Bears, and hear me out. You get Caleb Williams at number 1. Then you go get Calvin Ridley at receiver. Then you go get Josh Jacobs at running back. Then you go get Rome Odunze or a different receiver, Malik Neighbors, whoever's available, best available at number 9, 8, whatever they have. That's a good offense.
Yeah,
and I mean,
it's not going to happen. It's
good.
not attractive.
They have the cap space.
Hey, come be on number 2. Like
They have the cap
He's not going
space.
to get paid more than at New England.
So I think that's a good spot for him. He sees, hey, I want to go work with Caleb Williams. 100%. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't right now over whoever goes to New England? I guess maybe you get Jaden Daniels and he thinks, hey, I'll go work with him. I could see that. That's why I don't mind the Patriots that much, but the Bears is a great fit for him. That wide receiver trio would be sick, and I think it would be decent, at least if they get Caleb Williams. If they keep Justin Fields, then obviously I'm not really going to feel the same way about it, but points there.
Next, Gabe Davis. I got him going to the Niners. I think the Niners and Ayuk kind of fall apart, and I think Debo's career in San Fran is coming to an end. Banged up with injuries, monster contracts. He's owed, I think, $28 million this next year. I don't think that's, going to continue into the future. And I'm going to say, hey, maybe Ayuk doesn't work out with San Fran, and they do a trade. Niners get some picks, and I got Gabe Davis going to the Niners.
I like where you're going with that. I think Brandon Ayuk, that is definitely a possibility. I've seen that a lot, the trade possibility for him. Team that's mentioned has been the Saints because, Clint Kubiak just came over. That'd be awesome if you get Ayuk, obviously, but I don't see that happening. I think Gabe Davis goes to the Chiefs. I think it's a great match for them. He's a big play guy, and that's what they need. Kind of, it's like MVS, but better. That's my idea for Gabe Davis. He's a guy that can hit on those deep routes and also has decent route running. Like we saw it in the Chiefs-Bills game, however many years ago now in the playoffs, where he had 3-4 touchdowns and he was breaking dudes' ankles left and right. Like he was getting open all the time. So if you put a guy like that in the Chiefs offense, I think it's dangerous.
Next one, we got Marquise Brown. I got him going to the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to get a receiver in free agency, and they're definitely probably going to draft one early in the draft, probably with that last pick in the first round. Good receiver draft. But they need receivers. It was a problem for them last year, and you saw it show up in a lot of big moments. They need some veteran guys. They need some playmakers, guys who could separate, do this and that. I got him taking Marquise Brown.
Yeah, I got him staying. This is gonna be the first guy that on our list so far that we've predicted just to stay with the team. I think he stays with the Cardinals. I think they're able to pay him, get him back, and I think that's a good pairing with him and Marvin Harrison Jr., most likely being the receiver that they get next to him.
Yeah, next one's Curtis Samuel. I got him going to the Bears. I think the Bears do grab a receiver to help out Fields or Williams, see what they do there. I still think they draft one too, but he was a guy that can kind of your gadget guy, can work in the slot. So Curtis Samuel to the Bears.
Yeah, and I think that's a good pick as well because him and DJ Moore were teammates back in the Carolina days, I believe.
Okay.
So that's something to draw him back over there. And even then, that's a good pick instead of Calvin Ridley. I like that. I got him going to the Patriots, so we kind of swapped picks for Calvin Ridley and Curtis Samuel. I think that's a good spot for him. He can go inside and out, do whatever you need on the Patriots, and he's a little bit less of I imagine he gets a little bit less money than Calvin Ridley.
And last one, we got Tyler Boyd. I got him to the Titans. He gets a nice payday by the Titans, and another veteran, good reliable target for Will Levis in the slot.
Yeah, so this is gonna be the first one where I gotta kind of go a little bit biased here. I like Tyler Boyd. I think he's a great pass catcher. He can do a little bit of everything. And I think the Saints need a guy like that with Michael Thomas leaving, obviously. You got a lot of young receivers on the team, A.T. Perry, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave. All three are in their first, second, third years. You need a guy that's a veteran to come in and kind of lead the group. And that's what they did with Michael Thomas. Is what they did with Jarvis Landry when they tried to bring him in. I think Tyler Boyd's a great fit that you don't have to pay a crap load of money. So I think Tyler Boyd could go to the Saints. That's my realistic option for them in this receiver free agency class.
Yeah, next position group, tight ends. We've got 3 tight ends. First, Jonnu Smith. I think he goes to the Chargers. He's a good vertical threat, can stretch the fields, get Justin Herbert another weapon.
Yeah, I think he goes to the Bengals. I think this is an interesting one because the Bengals, obviously, they're going to try to draft a tight end, possibly Brock Bowers if they can. But I think he's gone, and I think they need a tight end quick. They need to fill that gap because obviously their tight ends haven't been getting it done the last few years. I think Jonnu Smith is a great fit for them.
Next one, Hunter Henry. I got him going to the Jets. I think the Jets get a nice, big, reliable target, who can, get open over the middle for Rodgers. So Hunter Henry to the Jets.
I think he stays with the Patriots. Patriots need a guy that's reliable for the rookie quarterback coming in, and I think he's that guy. They also have fourth most salary cap, so I think they're able to pay him.
Noah Fant. I think he goes to the Commanders. I think they just let go of Logan Thomas. He's got a lot of similar traits to Logan Thomas. That true vertical threat, not a big blocker at all, and I think he goes to the Commanders.
Yeah, once Hammer put this thought in my mind, I thought it was too good to be true. I think he's a great fit for the Commanders, young guy that can still do a lot of things, and that's what the Commanders need right now.
Next, offensive line, top 5 guys. This is interior and tackle. First one, Tyron Smith, longtime Cowboy. I got him going to the Rams. Rams have a lot of cap space, can pay him. The Rams looked good last year. Let's keep Stafford up and, have him up and healthy to throw to Puka and Cup. So I got him going out to LA with the Rams.
Yeah. Over the next couple picks, you'll notice a trend here. I think he goes to the Patriots. The Patriots' 4th most salary cap, just mentioned it, and they're going to want to build that lineup for that rookie quarterback. You don't want another Joe Burrow situation where he gets killed in his first, second seasons, like he just gets murdered left and right. I think the Patriots are a great fit for him. A vet guy on the line and tackle. Is he guard? Tackle? No, he's a tackle, right?
Tackle.
I'm tripping right now. Yeah. I'm tripping, man. I'm tripping. All right. Patriots.
Next one we got Mike Onwenu. I probably butchered that name.
Onwenu, yeah.
But I think he's from the Patriots, good first offensive lineman. He's on the younger side. I think he stays in New England. I got the money. Keep your young quarterback protected. I don't think New England kind of lets go of this big guy.
Great minds think alike, Cameron. He stays with the Patriots. I agree.
Connor Williams, center. I think he heads to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's got to improve that offensive line. They could do it in the draft. However, I think they go corner in the draft. I've seen them take interior offensive line like Jackson Power Johnson, but I think they sign a young guy in Connor Williams.
I think he goes to the Bears. I've mentioned a few guys already now that are landing there. I think they sure up that line a little bit for the rookie quarterback coming in, most likely Caleb Williams.
Trent Brown, tackle. I think he goes to the Jets. You got to protect Rodgers. I think they draft an offensive lineman with that 10th overall pick, but hey, go get a veteran tackle too. And if someone else becomes available, like David Bakhtiari, I definitely see him going to the Jets. So we'll see.
I think the Saints go out and try to get Trent Brown. I think it's a great fit. He played with Derek Carr back in the Raiders days. And I think, if the Saints don't sign back Andrews Pete, I think they will. I think that's when it happens, and that's when they would go after Trent Brown if they can't get him back. But if they get a key of both, then you got a nice tackle and you can move Andrews Pete back to guard, so it'd be a good fit. But I think Trent Brown could be a Saint.
Jonah Williams, tackle, young tackle. I got him going to the Steelers. Steelers have been improving their offensive line. I think they very well could take another O-lineman in that first round. But hey, Jonah Williams, good veteran tackle, young too. At worst, he's a good depth piece for a offensive line that has not been good these past couple of years.
Yeah, I got him going to the Commanders. Commanders have the most cap space in the league, I'm pretty sure, and they're a team that needs good O-line help. We saw it last year, all of last year. Sam Howell was fighting for his life. Ned Stimson, you know what's up. So he was familiar with Sam Howell getting hit every play. So I think the Commanders need a good offensive lineman. They might try to go after a few other guys on this list as well. So Jonah Williams is a Commander.
Moving to the defensive side of the football now, top 5 defensive lineman in our opinion, not in any order. First, Chris Jones. I got him staying with the Chiefs. He's a Chief. If they didn't think he was going to sign back, they would have put the franchise tag on him and that Snead walk. A deal is going to get done. He's going to get paid a lot. He's staying in Kansas City.
Yeah,
Going
I
for
gotta
that
agree.
three-peat.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's all you need to say is three-peat. That's all he wants. He wants another ring. So I think he goes back.
I think Danielle Hunter is going to get a big payday from a division rival in the Chicago Bears. They're going to add to that defensive front. So Hunter to the Bears for me.
Whew, I couldn't even imagine him if that happens. I mean, the Bears could be a
Yeah,
team.
well, they're not getting Jacobs and
They could.
Calvin
They got a lot
Ridley,
of cap
so-
space. Anyways, I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction here. I'm going to go to the Commanders, replace a couple of the guys that they lost last year that they traded away, Chase Young, Montez Sweat. They needed some more D-line help again. So I'm going to go with Danielle Hunter, the Commanders. Good fit and a lot of cap space to pay him. So, yeah.
Christian Wilkins, surprisingly a free agent. I think he does end up back in Miami. I think they find a way to get a long-term deal done. This is a weird one, though, because it's like, damn, they didn't even tag him. They, let him go into free agency and be able to talk to other teams. Surprising, but I think he stays in Miami.
Yeah, I got him going. I think that's a good pick as well, staying in Miami. Obviously, they want him back. They'll probably try to pay him. I got him going to the Bengals, though, to replace DJ Reader. He's on his way out, and I think they need some good run defense help as well as some interior pressure, so I think he's a good fit for the Bengals.
Next one's Chase Young. Didn't have the best year. Big name, though. I've seen reports that the Niners are interested in bringing him back on, another kind of 2-year, 1-year kind of prove it deal. Not a lot of money, but hey, a chance to play with his college teammate, Nick Bosa, and play for a contender. That's really attractive. So, and he had a good Super Bowl, to be honest. So I think he stays in San Fran.
I got him going to the Texans on a 1-year prove-it deal. I think this is a guy that obviously last year had some issues when he went to the 49ers. He didn't really seem like he was up to snuff until that Super Bowl where he had a pretty good game, honestly. Everyone saw it. He was on the big stage, so obviously everyone saw it. But I think the Texans are a great fit for him. DeMeco Ryans is a defensive head coach, and he's going to want a guy that helps out with Will Anderson, helps teach him, anything like that. And it's just a 1-year deal, so I can see the Texans doing it.
Yeah, next I got Leonard Floyd. I think he goes to the Cardinals, gets a good payday, heads out west, and yeah.
Instead of Danielle Hunter, I got the Bears going with Leonard Floyd. I think he's a good fit. Can do a little bit of everything, and that's kind of what the Bears need over there. They already have 2 good linebackers. They could also use a good outside linebacker / edge kind of guy that can do a little bit of everything there, and I think that's a great fit for them on the Bears.
Going back home, I'm pretty sure that's where he started his career. Linebacker, Devin
yes.
White.
So.
Prediction. I think Devin White's a Raider. I don't know. I think some guys, you just look at them and their character and their personality, and you're like, that's a Raider. I think Devin White's a Raider. Didn't have a good year this past year. He's kind of fallen off from early in his career and when he was a rookie, when he really lit it up. I think he goes to the Raiders. They're going to be in need of a linebacker, and it makes a lot of sense.
I got him going to the Ravens to replace Patrick Queen. I think he's a guy that has that tenacity that the Ravens usually like. And he's a guy that's been playing on the Bucs for his whole career, and he's probably sick of losing. So he wants to go to the Ravens, try to go win a Super Bowl. I think that's a good match for him right there in Baltimore.
Next, we got Frankie Luvu, young up-and-coming linebacker. I think he stays in Carolina. Carolina's got money to throw at him. I think he's going to stay. He's a nice piece to that young defense.
I got him to the Cowboys. What was what we said all of last year? They can't defend the run. They play with basically safeties in the tackle box or in the box as linebackers, and it wasn't working for them. I think Frankie Luvu is a young linebacker that they can go and sign and have him be basically their big guy on the defense in the linebacker's position to shut down the run as well as defend the pass.
Next is Patrick Queen. He had a big, kind of slow start to his career, and then he had a monster big season this past year. I think he gets paid. I think he heads to Houston. DeMeco Ryans kind of has a big-time free agent signing, really building that defense like the old San Fran days. Not old San Fran days, but when he was there with Fred Warner and Bosa, he's got Will Anderson. Now he's going to add Patrick Queen.
Nothing else to add. You nailed it on the head.
Next, Jerome Baker. He got cut yesterday by the Miami Dolphins. I have him going to Dallas, just like just like Jenk said, they're in need of a linebacker. They can't stop the run. Jerome Baker, kind of a versatile linebacker, good against the pass, good against the run. I think he hits it Dallas.
I got him on the Steelers. I think that's a good fit for him. The linebackers over there are still pretty good. They're not bad, obviously, but they could use a little bit of depth. And I think the Steelers might lose like Quan Alexander, a couple other guys. And I think the Steelers are a good fit for him.
Next guy, Jordan Brooks, former first-round pick from Seattle. I think he hits the Commanders. They're in need of a linebacker. He's still on the young side, so he kind of fits their timeline. And I don't think he's going to be, receive a massive contract. So, I think it's going to work out for both sides.
I got him staying in Seattle. I think he's a good fit. I think they'll try to pay him, bring him back. Mike McDonald's the new head coach over there, right? So he's going to be a defensive guy. I think he wants to keep their defense intact. And I think they're going to try to reinstall that Legion of Boom over there in Seattle.
Next, corners, top 5. Xavien Howard, who got cut by Miami. I have him going to Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota, they got to pay Justin Jefferson. They got to see what's up with Kirk Cousins. But I think he lands in Minnesota on kind of like a prove-it deal a little bit. They need a corner. Stop Jordan Love. I think he goes to Minnesota.
I got him going to the Commanders. Again, they got a lot of cap space, and they need a cornerback that can be a veteran, teach up the young guys, especially Emmanuel Forbes, who they drafted last year in the first round, who obviously didn't work out at all, didn't play most of the year as a starter. And I think Xavien Howard could go in there and help teach him up, get him a little bit bigger, anything like that they definitely need as cornerback.
Yeah, next, J.C. Jackson got cut by the Patriots, cap-saving move. Washed up Patriot. I think he goes to the Raiders. Makes sense. They're in need of a corner. Yeah, not much to say.
Yeah, I got him going to the Ravens. I
think the Raiders are that one team, and even last year, where like I could just see players in that uniform. Like it's just weird. Like I just like, oh, that guy's a Raider. I don't know. Raiders always make kind of interesting kind of signings. So
Hammer's little crystal ball always leads to the Raiders.
It does. It's weird.
It's like,
that guy's a Raider.
The land of the misfits, where he's not really sure where they go. Raiders, send him over there.
Yeah, well, I think we predicted last year. I think we said Marcus Peters to the Raiders.
Yeah,
like, that's just like
did.
It just I don't know. You just see it. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Anyway,
I'm going to Raider.
Different art team. You got the Ravens. I think it's a good fit for him. Maybe 1-year deal, 2-year deal, because obviously things didn't work out in New England, and I think a lot of teams are going to take note of that. Like he was supposed to go over there and play well last year, and he did not. Like he did not play well. I think he was like suspended or something. He stopped playing for a couple weeks, and it was like a little weird situation in New England. Pretty sure that was him. And I think the Ravens take note of that, but I think they're able to also just say, hey, we'll sign you 1-year deal. As you prove it, we'll sign you back to more. So I think the Ravens are a good fit for him.
Next, we got Kendall Fuller. This guy's probably the best, like he was true free agent, like his contract up. The other guys got cut. He's a good player. He's underrated. I think he heads to Detroit. Detroit needs DBs. Their secondary is really bad. And just like Howard, going to the Vikings, they got to find a way to stop Jordan Love. So I think Kendall Fuller goes to the Lions.
I agree. Young talent to the Lions, and Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, they want to coach up these young guys to be tenacious on the defense. I think he's a Lion for sure.
Kendall Fuller's not young, but like I just think he's
he's younger though than like Xavien Howard, and like
Fuller's 29. So
like, isn't Xavien Howard? I thought he was younger, honestly. I really did. So sorry, never mind. Not younger, but a guy that can mentor some of the younger guys on the defense.
Kenny Moore from the Colts, kind of the true slot corner of this free agency class. I got him re-signing with the Colts. Colts have a lot of cap space. He's a good player, good slot corner, and slot corners are just tough to come by in this league, like true slot corners. So I think he stays.
Yeah, I told him last night when we were kind of going through this list. I told him if the Colts decide that they don't want to sign him back, I think that's a good job. Like they should try to get him back, and I think they will. If they're not able to get it done, I think he goes to the Jaguars and says, "Screw you guys! I'm going to go play for a team that needs a corner that can also play against his old team and kind of in spite of the Colts, go to the Jaguars."
Next up, Jeff Okudah, big name, right? This guy got drafted 3rd overall to Detroit. Didn't really work out. Had a okay year in Atlanta. I think a team's gonna take a flyer on him and just see what's up, see if there's anything left there. And I think a team to watch out for is the Broncos. Broncos are known for having a good defense. Find someone opposite of Patrick Surtain. And you never know. Maybe Surtain can elevate his play, and Broncos got two true first round corners.
I think he goes to the Bengals, a team that needs a little bit of that cornerback depth, as well as a guy that he can work his way up to that starting spot if he just balls out in preseason, anything like that. I think that's a good fit for him as a younger guy that hasn't really found his home yet.
Next, in the last class, the safety class. Now, this safety class is really strong. I think when you look at the draft class, it's not a strong safety class, but for agency, it is. So for a team like the Packers, my team, I see us getting one of these guys. There's another guy off the list who I think we can get. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay signs kind of tier two free agent safeties. So it's going to be interesting. They're going to have some money to spend. First guy we got who didn't receive a tag yesterday, that was kind of surprising, Xavier McKinney from the Giants, 24 years old. He's young. The dude can, he's good deep middle safety, post safety, and he can also come down and play the run. I think he's a perfect fit for the Packers and their new style of defense that they're going to play. I think Green Bay is going to have the money. They definitely have the need. And yeah, to me, like this would be a dream fit, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I got him staying home. And by home, I mean in the same stadium. I think he goes to the Jets, other New Jersey, New York team. I think it's a good fit for him. They needed more safety help. That's kind of what was holding back their defense a little bit last year. Obviously, there's still a decent defense last year. But I think if they add Xavier McKinney, watch out. They're going to be a great defense for a few years to come because he's a little bit on the younger side as well.
Yeah, next guy, Kamren Curl from the Commanders, another young dude. He was a 7th-round pick, so he really built his way in this league. He's gonna have a nice little payday. He's a good box safety. I got him going to the Rams. I think the Rams need a safety. They're gonna have money to spend, and this guy's just Mr. Consistent. He reminds me a lot of Adrian Amos, and he's not gonna stuff this. He's not gonna stuff the stat sheet. He's not gonna make these crazy leaping picks. But he's going to tackle, he's going to be in the right place at the right time, and he's going to be consistent. This is another guy that I see the Packers targeting just because it reminds them a lot of Adrian Amos. And Adrian Amos had a good run in Green Bay for those 3 years. So I got him going to the Rams. Keep an eye out for the Packers, though.
I got him going with the Colts. Similar to the Rams, they kind of need that kind of box safety, consistent guy like you were talking about. And I think that's a great fit for the Colts. They have a good amount of cap space, not a lot, good amount. I think that's a good spot for him to get a guy like Kamren Curl.
Next guy, we got Geno Stone, who really came onto the scene this past season. He didn't really play before that. This past season with Baltimore, though, he had 7 picks. So he was all over the place, free safety. One thing I don't like about him and why I think Green Bay is going to stay away from him, he's not aggressive. He's not a tackler. He misses a lot. But, hey, he's a good deep free safety. I got him going to the Giants. I think they lose one, but they get one. They're going to lose McKinney, but they're going to get a safety back in Geno Stone, who could play deep middle and who's just going to be a cheaper option.
I got him going to the Bengals. I think he goes across the division and says, screw the Ravens for letting me go. I was a good safety for them. Why would they not want me back? If he doesn't go back, obviously, if they don't decide to re-sign him, I think he goes to the Bengals, and it's a good safety help for them, which they need.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who, if you remember, was kind of like the prize of last year's free agency. He was like, a lot of people wanted him. And I think we predicted him right to go to the Lions, but that was only a 1-year deal. Now he's a free agent. I think he goes to the Jets. Jets are going to need a safety. Adrian Amos didn't work out. Jordan Whitehead is a free agent as well. They're going to need one. And I think he's going to be on the cheaper side too. He's not going to be like a McKinney or a Kamren Curl. So I think it's going to make sense. And he's got that attitude that like New York. And I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, another team that has that like attitude. I don't know. It might not even be in their needs. I was going to think of the Raiders. Like, it's not my prediction, but like the Raiders, like that's the kind of like attitude.
I was thinking about that too. He looks like a Raider, but I didn't want to do it again.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's like you listen to Max Crosby, like they're trying to reinstall that, like the Raider mentality of just being gritty, like nasty football team. That would be a good guy to go there. I have him projected to go to the Eagles. I think he might reunite over there. need safety help. They just let Kevin Byard go. And I think it's a good fit for them. I also said he possibly could return to the Saints. We need a safety as well. And we had him playing basically as a nickel kind of guy inside the box at all times. And he didn't like that. And I think that they say, hey, would you want to come back, year deal, something like that, possibly play safety, or go back to that nickel role because he was balling out in it. And maybe they pay him a little bit more. So, but I got him to go to the Eagles as my pick.
Yeah, and like you said, Kevin Byard, who the Eagles let go. There's a lot of good safeties like him, Micah Hyde too. The safeties that we chose and like kind of the players that we chose for every position were kind of guys on the younger side who, coming off a really good year. So that's kind of the guys we chose, kind of new guys. We didn't want to, I don't want to be talking about Micah Hyde and where he's going to go for a year because guess what? He's either going to get a big payday or he's going to get to a Super Bowl contender. That's all these kind of guys that kind of age. So we wanted to focus on kind of younger guys who are making a name for themselves and can benefit teams for not only this season, but, 3-4 years to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously that comes with like the larger draft or like the larger classes. Obviously with like the less talented classes, it's kind of harder to find those guys. So we went with like the main.
Yeah. So last safety, I got Julian Blackmon for the Colts. He's a really good player. He's a really fun watch. Someone who I've been watching for the Packers, of course. He's versatile. He can play deep middle. He can come down, play the run. He could be a box safety. He had a really good rookie year with the Colts. I think he was top 4, top 5 in rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year in voting. Had a good year this past year. He's a free agent, young. I think he stays with the Colts. Just like Kenny Moore. I think they got the cap room to make it work. And they're good players for them. Good young DBs. I think they stay home.
I think he goes to the Bills. I think the Bills might lose out on Taylor Rapp. I think they try to get him back. And possibly Micah Hyde as well. So if they lose both of those guys, I think the Bills are a great fit for him. They're willing to pay him a little bit. And he's also a safety that they need. Good ring contender for them. And with that being said, that's going to conclude our list. Hammer, who is the Packers' most realistic prediction as a free agent this offseason? And who are you, on top of that, who do you want the most?
The most realistic, well, it's going to be a safety. We need a safety bad. I think the most realistic is Jordan Fuller from the Rams. He's got a connection with Jeff Hafley, our new DC. He played under him at Ohio State. Good safety, versatile, and that's just kind of the key. Like I've been saying, this dude can play the post. He could, be that deep middle free safety, and he can also be in the box and stop the run. And Jordan Fuller can do that. He's going to be cheap too. I'm thinking like 2 years, $8 million. I think it works in Green Bay's budget. Versatile, has some background with, our new coach. So Jordan Fuller to the Packers, most realistic. Who do I want the most? Xavier McKinney. He's a stud. He's a game changer. And he's a Pro Bowl type player. And he probably would have been a Pro Bowl player if he wasn't playing for the Giants. And I think, you give him the Green Bay. If he comes to Green Bay with the new defense that we're going to be playing, he's going to have a lot of freelance, and he's going to, a lot of potential, but he's going to be able to play free and aggressive and take his chances. And he's a really good player. And hopefully it happens. And what about you for the Saints?
I think realistically, it's Trent Brown. I mentioned it. Obviously, unless they get Andrews Pete back, then they wouldn't really need him as much. And then Tyler Boyd. Those are the 2 regularly projected. I think they are realistic picks. Obviously, the Saints are negative 15, 16 mil in the cap space right now, so they got to clear it up, and then they'll figure it out from there. As far as wants go, I want Danielle Hunter, man. If Saints can go out somehow get Danielle Hunter, then you don't have to really worry as much about edge in the draft, and you can go get, I don't know, you can get a tackle in the draft. You could get Brock Bowers, or you could go get a receiver even. You could go best player available in the draft if you were to get Danielle Hunter at defensive end in free agency.
Yeah. And you know what? After free agency and you see where the quarterbacks go and just where everyone goes, it kind of clears up the draft a little bit about landing spots, this and that. And, just keep in mind, like free agency, this is to kind of fill holes in your team, spend a little money, get some new personalities, guys who have been around the league, fill holes, like I said. And then drafts, there to build your team. That's where you build your team, the nucleus of your team. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it shakes out. Next time we're going to be talking to you guys will be on Tuesday, breaking down the top 8 tight ends in this year's draft class. So, Monday will happen. It's going to be hectic that first day, those first 3 days. And then, of course, the next free agent episode will be on Thursday. And we'll be breaking down, the first 4 days of free agency and how that's been going, kind of grading out deals that happened, that took place. And, yeah, just enjoy it. I'm excited. I can't wait. Jenks, closing thoughts?
Only thing I really have to say is just make sure to follow us on at Jenks Hammer Pod on Twitter. We'll try to – I know we're pretty busy when it comes to our free time, but I'm going to be trying to react to all of the free agent signings. I'll try to comment under everything, so keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, definitely. So with that being said, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jenks Hammer Pod. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Jenks Hammer Podcast. If you watch on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment who you want your team to get. Who's going to make the biggest impact for your team. So I'm excited. Let's get to it. A safety to the Packers is coming. Who it will be, we don't know. We're going to find out. But that's going to do it for this episode. Have a good week, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast. Remember to leave a review and follow all of our social media pages at Jenks Hammer Pod for more content. Until next time, who dat and go Pack go!